Okay, UFC Walker versus Minyang Shanghai takes place this weekend. And I'm gonna be honest before I start this. I'm gonna be honest. I left my notes for some of the fights on this card at work, and I'm not working tomorrow on Friday, so I won't be able to get the notes that I had for some of these fights before the event starts. So I'm just gonna try my best to remember what I said about these fights and see if I can remember well. Um, Starting with Uran Salty Baldiev versus DR Nuger. I don't even know how to say that name. I'm gonna go with Nergoze. I just think he's a better striker, and I know this is a light heavyweight bout, and anything could happen in these higher weight classes, but Salty Baldiev, I'm just not impressed by him as a whole. At least Nergoje has shown me some moments that's like, oh, okay, that's notable. So, you know, when I think of Nergoze, I think of that head kick knockout he had. I believe it was on the Contender Series. When I think of Sadi Baldiev, I just think of him getting Kimura off the bottom against fucking Brinson Ribeiro. And I had a whole list of notes for this fight as well, but like I said, I forgot it at work and I can't get it. So um, I had Nergoze anyway, so I'm gonna just go with him. He's just a better striker, and I'm hoping that means something. Moving on to Zhao Long versus Su Young Yu. Now this one I was having troubles with, okay, but I'm gonna go with Su Young Yu, and the reason being is because Su Young Yu is he's patient, right? He's patient. He is a good boxer with some power, and he's well rounded, and he mixes the striking and the wrestling pretty well. Whereas Zai Long is much more dangerous on the feet. He hits harder. He's very aggressive on the feet. He comes out. He threw a flying knee and a jumping crane kick in like his last fight, and at the start of two different rounds. So Long comes out aggressive. He comes out powerful and trying to take your head off, and that can work. It can work, but Su Young Yu is very patient, and he sees everything coming. So I see him being on the back foot the entire fight, clipping Zai Long as he crashes in, trying to land a powerful shot. And Zai Long, as he gets taken down a lot, dude, a lot. And Su Young Yu can take people down. He took down his last opponent. Who was it? I forgot, but he took him down multiple times. And Zia Long is easy to take down, especially with the way he crashes in. He doesn't have a good base to defend takedowns. So I'm gonna go with Su Young Yu by decision, just by being on the back foot, being a good counter striker, waiting for Long to engage and then countering him inside, and also taking him down as well. So I think it's gonna be a 29-28 decision for Su Young Yu. Moving on. Yiza versus Weston Wilson. I'm gonna go with Yiza because he's so much more younger. He's much more younger, and he's got like so many more pro fights. I mean, look at this. Weston Wilson's like what, like 34, 35, 17 and 9. Dude, that's fucking awful. Yiza, I guess is how you say his name. I believe he's 29. Wait, is it? Are there ages here? No, it's not. I believe he's 29, 25 and 5. Much better record. God, I'm trying to remember what I put for these guys. Yiza's he's a good striker. He's well rounded as well. Weston Wilson doesn't have much of a chin. I know he's been KO'd by guys like Gene Silva and um some other dude I can't remember the name of right now. But there's a reason he is 17 and 9, right? He's just not great. So yeah, I got Yiza by KO in the first two rounds. He's just a lot more impressive. and he's strong. Wesley Wilson's physically weak. Wesley Wilson does have some pretty nasty jiu-jitsu off his back, though, I will admit. That arm, I believe it was an arm triangle or an arm bar he got off the bottom against, I can't even remember his name. Let's find out. Wesley Wilson got an absolute nasty submission off of his back against, oh, dude, it was against Jeka Sergey. Sergey. He is absolute buns, man. So, never mind. Maybe that win isn't quite as impressive as I thought. But I'm going to go with Yiza by round 1 to TKO. Just being too physical out there. And too young. And more experienced. Moving on. Michel Pereira versus Kyle Dawkins. I don't really need to explain myself here that much, I don't think. Michel Pereira is going to knock him out. Because Kyle Dawkins is not good, and correct me if I'm wrong, the best win of Kyle Dawkins' entire career is Kevin Holland, right? I'm not tripping on that, am I? No, I don't think so. The best win of his UFC career is like Kevin Holland or some shit like that. Kyle Dawkins, both the Dawkins brothers have never been good. Kyle Dawkins and Chris Dawkins, they're just not good, and they go out there and just, get KO'd, Michel Pereira, yeah, he looked awful, really awful against Felipe Hernandez, but Felipe Hernandez is about to beat RDR and challenge for the title, so. And Kyle Dawkins is absolutely not anywhere near the level of Felipe Hernandez, so I got Michel Pereira by round 1. I don't know if he's gonna knock him out or if he's gonna club and sub him, because that's what Pereira likes to do. He likes to drop people and then jump down for a sub, so he could definitely do that, but I don't think Kyle Dawkins is gonna be conscious enough after getting dropped to be latched up in a sub. I think when he goes down, he's gonna go completely limp. So it's probably gonna be the end of the fight. I got Michel Pereira, round 1 knockout. Let's go. Rong Zhu versus Austin Hubbard. Rong Zhu's gonna win. Rong Zhu's pretty good. Rong Zhu is much better than his record suggests. 26-6. Austin Hubbard is not good at all, I don't think. Not in my opinion, I don't think he's that good. He has a few terrible losses. Like, hold on, let's go through his losses right now. Austin Hubbard lost to Medeiros, lost to Hernandez, beat Figlak, lost to Kurt Hollabaugh, who I also don't think is good, lost to Vink Piquel. That's a bad loss. So he's just not that good. And Rong Zhu, didn't Rong Zhu go the distance in a competitive fight against Ignacio Bahamondes? Ignacio was really good. So, and he's had some other notable performances. Beat Cody Steele. Lost to Padilla, but Padilla's nasty, so. Lost to Bahamondes. So, Rong Zhu's pretty decent. He's actually pretty good, whereas I don't think that about Austin Hubbard. Rong Zhu's pretty well-rounded. He's got power in his hands, too. I think Rong Zhu has the finishing potential here as well, so you know how I feel about the finishing potential, so Rong Zhu, going to take this in the bag by knockout, round 2. Moving on to Charles Johnson versus Loner Kavanaugh. This one shouldn't take much because Loner Kavanaugh is going to have a stellar performance. Star-making performance against Charles Johnson here. Charles Johnson's not great. He's not. And he seems to only really have advantages when he's like super taller than a guy, which could be an issue here because Loner Kavanaugh is really short. But Charles Johnson, the only reason he was able to beat Joshua Van was just because Joshua Van had a real hard time, figuring out the size difference between him and Charles Johnson, and it was a real hard night. But Loner Kavanaugh, I feel like, will be able to deal with that a lot better. Loner Kavanaugh, in my opinion, is a future of this division. You guys know how I feel about Kavanaugh. He is literally a future champion, and he is the future of flyweights going forward. I think he's one of the best flyweights on the planet. 9-0 is a fitting record, and I think he's gonna stay undefeated for a long time, a long, long time. So, and Charles Johnson, I'm just not really ever impressed by him. But I got Loner Kavanaugh by knockout in rounds 1 or 2. Stellar star-making performance, highlight reel knockout. Loner Kavanaugh is going to be on highlight reels after this, and he is going to be very highly anticipated going forward, because Loner Kavanaugh, if you guys are not on the Loner Kavanaugh hype train, I'd suggest you get the fuck on while it's before it's too late. He's gonna beat up Charles Johnson here. Moving on, Mahashate versus Gage Young. This one, oh man, I had a lot of notes for this one. But I remembered I'm going with Mahashate just because he has better wins and better losses. All of his wins are better than Gage Young's wins. Mahashate beat Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia's last loss was a clean, cold knockout by Mahashate. And Gage Young, I believe he just beat someone who I don't consider a good win at all. Let me see. Okay, let's see who I'm talking about. Gage Young. Oh no, he lost to Evan Elder, which isn't the worst win, because Evan Elder is actually not that bad. But Mahashate, God, just lost to Nicholas Mata. And he lost to Borshev. I don't care. I'm going Mahashate. Mahashate by decision, I'd imagine. I just think he's a bit better. But I had a lot more notes on this, and I'm so upset I forgot him at work. This is going to be the worst prediction video of all time, but I'll be sure to not do this again. To forget him at work again. This one, I remember being super confident in, he's 1-0? Am I tripping? Okay, 11-1, I guess, overall. It just has 1-0 here. I'm super confident in Tyelake Nuraji. I'm super confident in him. Kiefer Crosby's not good. And he's older as well, I believe. I remember watching Tyelake Nuraji. I remember watching him and being like, yo, he is dangerous. He's quick. He's strong. He's powerful. He's well-rounded. You know, he looks like a really good prospect that I'm excited for in the future past this. And I don't see Kiefer Crosby, of all people, stopping that hype train just right now. But yeah. Nurajai, I think is how you say it. I got him by knockout. Man, I'm trying to remember what I wrote on my notes. Is he a knockout guy? Is he a submission guy? What does he have? Okay, no, he has 1 win by submission and 10 by knockout. So, yeah. Damn. He's a 100% finish rate then. Okay. Ooh. Apologize. 100% finish rate then. Okay. So I'll go with him by knockout then. Round 1. Moving on to Suma Darji versus Kevin Borjas. Now this one upsets me the most, that I left my notes at work, because I had so many notes on this fight in particular, and it took me a while to come to a conclusion. But I'm going with Kevin Borjas, and I'm going with Kevin Borjas for a very specific reason that I had in my notes that I cannot remember at this time. So I can't tell you exactly why I think Kevin Borjas is gonna win, because it's in my notes I left at work, and I don't have very good memory. So I'm gonna just say that I'm taking Kevin Borjas for reasons unknown. And I think some of it has to do with the fact that, I mean, I guess Sumadarji just kind of sucks, doesn't he? No, he's not great, but Kevin Borjas is a bit more of a banger. His boxing is much slicker than Sumadarji. Kevin Borjas is tough. And his fight against, let's see, Borjas' fight against Costa, even though he lost by KO, is kind of what made me confident in him here. Because he was, if you guys remember, he was banging it out with him in that fight. Like, real going back and forth before he got KO'd. And Sumadarji wouldn't do that. So, Kevin Borjas is a better boxer. He's tougher. And I just think he's a better fighter. So, yeah. Moving on. Sergey Pavlovich versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. I'm going to spend only a few seconds on this one. Sergey Pavlovich, round 1 knockout. Alright, I was interrupted there. Sergey Pavlovich, round 1 knockout. I mean, let's be real here. Sergey won, 7 in a row, all by first round knockout. And then he ran into Tom Aspinall, unfortunate for him. And then he ran into Alexander Volkov. 2 guys that I did pick to beat Sergey Pavlovich. So, Waldo Cortez Acosta has not ever showed me anything that suggests he beats Sergey. You KO'd Ryan Spann. Congratulations. And then he had a competitive striking battle against Sergey Spivak. No. Sergey sleeps him, and I'm very confident in it, and I feel like I don't really have to say much here. Waldo's also not as fast. Sergey's much faster, better boxing, better power, maybe even better on the ground, Waldo Cortez Acosta went to a competitive decision against Andrei Arlovsky last year. I'm not entertaining the idea that Waldo can win this. Where's Waldo? I don't know. He won't be in the win column after this. Moving on to the co-main event, my most hyped fight of the night. Brian Ortega versus Aljamain Sterling. Let me explain something here. Aljamain Sterling is going to win. I'm taking Aljamain. And it's for the simple fact that he's a better wrestler. On the feet, Brian Ortega might have a slight advantage, but I don't think Brian Ortega has the boxing or the power to really punish Aljamain for being how he is on the feet, even though I don't think Aljamain Sterling can go out there and really box up Brian Ortega. He'll have the better kicks. LJ will have the better kicks, and Brian will have the better hands. But they will grapple. Let's be real here. And Aljamain Sterling is the much better overall grappler. Aljamain is clearly a much better wrestler. Whoever has the better jiu-jitsu, I guess, is an opinionated thing, because I can see arguments for both guys. But wrestling beats jiu-jitsu. So Aljamain is a better wrestler. He's physically stronger. Might even be bigger out there. He's probably going to toss Brian Ortega around. And on the feet, Brian Ortega doesn't have the power to make something big happen. So Aljamain will be landing a lot of body kicks. He'll get some takedowns, probably throw Brian Ortega around, get his back, get top mount, land some ground and pound. Brian might use his jiu-jitsu to get up or escape, or, put Aljamain in a takedown that'll force him to get up, allowing Ortega to get up as well. But Aljamain will continue to land body shots, and then he'll get back to the takedowns and back to the grappling. Like, Aljamain Sterling he's a really good mixed martial artist. That's one thing about him is he's a great mixed martial artist, Really good at mixing everything together. And Brian Ortega, he's lost a step, He hasn't been impressive, or he hasn't really looked good in so long. Even in his last win, was against Yair, he was getting fucked up in round 1, and then only won because Yair doesn't know how to grapple and made a mistake. But then it got absolutely dominated by Diego Lopez, and Aljamain Sterling went out there and had a competitive, incredibly close fight, split decision, I believe it was, against Movsar Evloev, where he was throwing Movsar around in moments. You can't tell me he can't do the same or worse to Brian Ortega. Aljamain Sterling is just a better mixed martial artist, and I think he is in a better spot in his career than Brian is in his. So I'm going to go Aljamain Sterling. But Brian Ortega is a fucking incredibly hard guy to finish. So I will be going Aljamain Sterling by decision, 30-27. I don't think Brian Ortega will have a round. Aljamain Sterling is just very, very good, and very impressive. So, and he's a former champion, and Ortega's not. And I think this is just gonna be a in case you forgot moment for Aljamain Sterling. Don't forget I was a former champion. Moving on to the main event. Now this one hurts, man, because I'm gonna be honest here. I'm gonna be real here. Oh, my Nate Diaz shirt. Johnny Walker is a guy that I always try to root for. I always try to pick. I'm that guy. I'm that guy online that tries everything he can to say why Johnny Walker wins, right? Listen, I'm going to be real here. I picked Johnny Walker in every single fight you see here. I picked him to beat Uzdemir. I picked him to beat Ankalaev in both of their fights. I picked him to beat Anthony Smith. I picked him to beat Paul Craig. I picked him to beat Cutelaba. I'm trying to remember. No, I think I picked Jamal Hill. I definitely picked Thiago Santos. So, and I picked Ryan Spann. Okay, so my Johnny Walker propaganda started at like Cutelaba, the Cutelaba fight for some reason. And I think it's just the fact that, like, dude, Johnny Walker, no matter what happens to him, it's just a simple fact that Johnny Walker is dangerous. He's dangerous. And he is so good at finding a split-second finish, Flying knee knockout across the chin. He could put people out. He's so powerful, so large, so strong. You know what I mean? He can be put out, but my God, can he put you out as well? It's just so happened that he's been put out more recently than he's been putting people out. And Zhang Minyang, dude, look at this guy. Round 1 KO against Smith, round 1 KO against Diaz, round 1 KO against Ribeiro, and he has like 5 or something more round 1 KOs in a row. Let's see here. 19 wins, 13 wins by knockout. 19. Every single win is in the first round. He has never in his life even went to the second round. I would love to pick Johnny Walker. But I can't. You have to go Zhang Minyang. If you're picking Zhang Minyang, you're picking him based off what we've seen from both fighters, realistically. If you pick Johnny Walker, you're picking him based off hopes. And that's what I've been doing with him, and I'm done with it. Johnny Walker needs to show me he can still be that flash KO guy. I'm going with Zhang Minyang. By round 1 knockout, he's going to sleep Johnny Walker. Man, 19 wins, 19 first-round finishes. Man, that is incredibly impressive. China's got a fucking potential star here if he can go out there in Shanghai and continue to do what he's been doing. Imagine this goes to a decision. How wild that would be. But yeah, I got Zhang Minyang. So we're gonna by round 1 knockout. So we're gonna go over my picks real quick again. Just to kind of lock them in. Dr. Nurgolze, Su Young Yu, Yiza, Michelle Prejeda, Rong Zhu, Loner Kavanaugh, Mahashate, Tayelake Nuroje, Kevin Borjas, Sergey Pavlovich, Aljamain Sterling, Zhang Minyang. Yep. Those are my picks. What are we at? 25 minutes? Hey, 25 minutes is actually fine. I actually made good time. I honestly thought this was gonna be a 5-minute video because I forgot my notes at work. I know these breakdowns weren't great. I forgot my notes, like I said. Sorry about that. But I tried to remember all I can, and I'm about to edit this video and get it posted. But hey, I know I picked Yang, but let's go Johnny Walker. Let's go Johnny Walker.